Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating report by the Boston Consulting Group. It's all about a massive economic shift happening right under the global radar. We're going to explore a surging consumer market that, frankly, almost nobody saw coming. You know, we hear so much about the giant economies of India and China, but today we're placing our focus squarely on Bangladesh. Picture this. A traditional bicycle cart navigating busy streets, but instead of typical cargo, it's loaded to the absolute brim with glowing modern smartphones. This old meets new reality perfectly captures what's happening in the nation right now. It's this vivid picture of a society deeply rooted in its traditional ways of living, yet rapidly, and I mean rapidly, accelerating into the digital age.
So we really have to ask ourselves, is the global perception of Bangladesh completely stuck in the past? Are we totally missing the explosion of its modern consumer class? We have to shatter some of these outdated stereotypes before we look at the hard data. To a lot of the outside world, the country is still synonymous with poverty, or maybe just known for microcredit in the garment industry. But is that blinding us to one of the world's next great growth opportunities? Well, the data suggests a resounding yes.
Okay, here's our agenda for unpacking this market. We'll start with the market nobody saw coming, move to the middle-class boom, look inside the consumer mind, explore the unique shopping paradox, and finally wrap up with the winning business playbook. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The market nobody saw coming. Shattering outdated myths.
See, behind those old stereotypes lies a highly stable, rapidly growing economy that's absolutely primed for discretionary consumption. Over the past decade, Bangladesh's economy has been growing at an impressive 6 to 7% annually. They've got low public debt, a booming export sector, and not just in apparel but in footwear and IT too, plus a massive, young workforce with a median age of just 24. That means half the entire country is just entering their prime spending years. This isn't about basic survival anymore. This is an economy stepping firmly into the realm of disposable income.
Section 2. The middle-class boom. Scale and speed.
By 2025, an astonishing 34 million people are projected to join the middle and affluent class, or MAC for short. To really put that into perspective, 34 million is roughly equivalent to the entire population of Texas, or even all of Canada. Every single year, the annual income of around 2 million additional Bangladeshis crosses the threshold where they can actually afford goods that offer convenience and luxury. We're talking air conditioners, imported shampoos, smartphones. Literally tens of millions of people are being lifted out of the bottom of the economic pyramid. And when you look at the speed of this growth, it's pretty mind-blowing. Bangladesh is seeing a 10.5% annual growth rate in its affluent population. That significantly outpaces regional peers like Indonesia at 7.8% and Myanmar at 7.9%. So while their middle class might be a bit smaller right now as a percentage of the total population compared to Indonesia, the sheer velocity of that growth is among the fastest in the entire world.
Now here's a crucial detail. This wealth isn't just bottled up in the capital. Historically, yeah, about 80% of this affluent population was concentrated in Dhaka and Chittagong. But by 2025, this wealth is spreading like wildfire to 33 key cities across the country, each developing MAC clusters of over 300,000 consumers. If you're a business leader looking at this, it means you can't just set up a single shop in the capital and call it a day. You need a real nationwide infrastructure strategy.
Section 3. Inside the consumer mind. The psychological profile.
There is a massive, palpable wave of optimism sweeping the country. Get this, 60% of consumers expect their incomes to rise in the next 12 months alone, and 81% believe the next generation will have a better life than they do. Contrast that with developed economies, where those numbers are often lagging way behind in the teens or 20s. This immense optimism translates directly into a super strong desire to buy and to trade up to higher value goods.
But, as you can see from this quote, all that optimism is deeply, deeply grounded in family values. 75% of consumers agreed with the statement that they won't spend on themselves until their family's needs are met. This is a game changer for businesses. It means you absolutely must cater to household needs before pushing individual luxuries. A family refrigerator or a better TV, that's going to take priority over a personal luxury item every time. You're selling to a household of 5, not just a single individual.
However, there is a catch. Look at the incredibly low penetration of credit cards and loans here compared to Indonesia. It highlights a profound cultural wariness of debt. Only 11% of urban consumers in Bangladesh use credit cards. That's nearly 50% lower than Indonesia. They are extremely cautious about borrowing, mostly relying on savings or informal networks. So for businesses selling big-ticket items, think cars or appliances, conquering this debt anxiety and offering trustworthy, totally manageable financial solutions, that is a massive untapped opportunity.
Section 4. The unique shopping paradox. Old habits, new tech.
To really grasp this paradox, we first have to understand the Mudir Dukan. Basically, these are the traditional mom-and-pop shops where a merchant sells everyday products over a counter. You don't really wander the aisles pushing a cart. You ask the merchant for exactly what you need. It's highly personal, it's incredibly local, and it is where the vast majority of daily commerce is still firmly anchored.
Now, it is pretty incredible to note that 94% of these new, affluent households still buy their goods in cash at these traditional counters. Even as their incomes rise and they start asking for imported shampoos or premium packaged foods, they aren't abandoning the Mudir Dukan for modern giant supermarkets just yet. No way. They're intensely loyal to these localized, cash-based traditional channels.
Yet here is the paradox. In stark contrast to that traditional cash-based grocery run, 68% of these exact same urban consumers are already using internet-enabled smartphones. They're highly connected, they trust the information they read online, and they actively use their mobile devices to research products right before they walk down to the Mudir Dukan to actually buy them.
This right here is the leapfrog concept in action. These consumers are entirely bypassing the era of desktop computers and traditional credit cards. They're jumping straight from physical cash to mobile payment systems like bKash and Payza. They aren't following the standard Western trajectory of technology adoption at all. They're taking a massive leap straight into the mobile internet era.
Section 5. The Winning Business Playbook. Strategic Imperatives.
So, with all this data on a fast-growing, highly optimistic, family-oriented, mobile-first population that still shops at traditional markets, what's the actual playbook for businesses and investors? BCG lays out a few critical imperatives. First, stress quality. Surprisingly, these consumers aren't just hunting for the cheapest deal. They care deeply about brand trust and product quality. Second, conquer that debt dilemma we talked about to unlock those big-ticket sales. Third, establish your brand loyalty right now while the market is still young. Fourth, you've got to master the tough logistics of delivering goods to thousands of tiny traditional Mudir Dukan shops across those 33 growing cities. And lastly, build mobile platforms.
Honestly, the most vital takeaway for any global marketer watching this explainer is that your entire digital strategy must be built for the smartphone screen first. If you're out there building a beautiful, complex desktop website for this market, you are totally missing the mark. The smartphone is their primary and very often their only portal to the digital world. E-commerce platforms, customer service, ad campaigns, the whole shebang needs to be curated specifically for that small screen and tied into mobile payment systems.
I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. As 2 million people leapfrog into the modern economy every single year, bringing this immense wave of optimism and brand new buying power with them, the window to establish loyalty is wide open right now. So are you prepared to capture the hidden gem of South Asia? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep looking for the growth where others aren't.